Hey everyone, welcome back to Week Ahead Astrology Breakdown. I'm Matthew Oliver with Stillwater Alchemy, and I am reporting to you live from Los Angeles. It is sunny, gorgeous. It is a vibe. So, lots shifting this week with the Sun and Mars both ingressing into Sagittarius. Of course, we're still integrating that Sun-Mars Cazimi, which we will also discuss at the top of the video. With that said, a couple of announcements. Number one, I've been getting a lot of emails and further inquiries about the November coaching special that I had, the 4 and 8 week coaching special. And I'm not sure if it's because of the Scorpio new moon integration or perhaps the Sun-Mars Cazimi has also sparked some passion, wanting to go deeper, wanting to heal at a greater scope. So I've extended the coaching special until end of day Tuesday, November 21st. So if you're still wanting to take advantage, if you still want to invest in yourself, go deeper, get accountability, support, please jump on this. After these 2 days, we're done. After Scorpio season has ended, the promotion will be fully closed. So I'll put all the information that you need to know about that in the description of this video. And if you are in Los Angeles or in Palm Springs, as I will be there later on in December, and want an in-person reading, whether that be for tarot, astrology, one-on-one coaching, or just to connect and see what comes up, all of the above, a little bit of each, then feel free to reach out through my website. Again, I'll put all the information for that in the description of this video. So, greatest victory of the week. I am currently filming this on Sunday, November 19th, which just so happens to be my birthday. So, truly, after everything that's been going on this year, I am just very grateful, and it's a victory to be alive. I got a lot of diagnoses from many doctors that told me over the past 12 months I was lucky to be alive, or that they didn't know what was going on, or waiting in ER rooms, or waiting in hospital rooms. So the fact that I've been able to come out the other side in this beautiful city, I am very, very happy about that. And I will say that everything that I endured this year, which may not be what I anticipated, was for a very good reason. I've come out so much more resilient, stronger, wise, learned so much about myself and these universal laws. So I promise you, if you're going through something just as intense or just as painful, that this Scorpio energy, or just overall, but usually during Scorpio season, there's a hidden truth, or there's energy, or there's additional healing that can be processed or revealed to go further into this work, to go further into the healing, to go further into the power that you possess. And that likely came up during that Sun-Mars Cazimi that was activated Wednesday and then really perfected on Saturday. So take note of that, see what was coming up for you, because it really is, as this fire pit is doing something on my end, there's something to be ignited. There's something to be revealed with this energy if you're at that stage of your journey, okay? So another victory of the week comes from Hidden Jewel. I checked my email last night and found out I won a raffle for a free 1-hour massage that entered back in October. There was a delay of the drawing as the masseuse / Reiki practitioner had some issues with the entries. A few days ago, I made an altar for Venus. It's my first time making one for a deity, as I only have altars for my past loved ones and one for my practice. I absolutely love how this gift is very Venusian, and the masseuse Reiki practitioner is also a Libra. Added note, I've been using your workbook from the Jupiter and Taurus webinar every day since Jupiter went retrograde. So it feels like it's double the Venusian energy. Thank you for all your resources that you share. It's so aligned. Boom. So this is a gentle reminder, especially with Venus still in Libra and Jupiter retrograde in Taurus, Taurus being a fellow sign ruled by Venus, that if you have not created a Venus altar, to do so. And I answered that question about a Venus altar in last week's Week Ahead Breakdown, so you can take a look there if you have any more questions. Okay. And the Jupiter and Taurus webinar is also a vibe just for the workbook alone. Just understand Jupiter and Taurus themes. So as per usual, I'll put that in the description of the video. So without further ado, let's hop into the week's transit. So as I said, biggest activations this week are going to be us still feeling the Sun-Mars conjunction, right? So really pay attention to what came through in that Scorpio ruled part of your chart. Because remember, Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio. So that Scorpio ruled part of your house would have been heavily, heavily activated over Friday, Saturday specifically. We had that Sun-Mars making a direct trine to Neptune. So in terms of your dreams or cutting through illusion, cutting through addiction, that would have been very, very clear or pronounced. Now, on Monday, we have the moon conjunct Saturn. So there is likely to be something that you're wanting to go deeper into, or there might be a creative spark, or you might even want to take a bit of time alone to yourself. There is likely to be something that you want to go deeper into emotionally, creatively, just because we also have the moon making that mutually receptive sextile to Jupiter. So there's a really nice aspect here that taking time for yourself, and this could even be like proper diligent self-care. So you're going to be taking time to journal in the morning. You're going to book that massage. You're going to maybe say no to things that don't make you feel good. Remember, Saturn is that boundaries, restrictions, the embodiment of the word no. And as we know, the word no is not negative. It means that we get to prioritize different things in our life. It can also just be where you're taking more space to simply be grounded in nature, play with your pet, be with your family, whatever that means for you. You are deciding what is important to you. That's going to bring you more joy and expansion. And part of me, like, I just keep seeing someone in a bed. So like rest. If you have not been resting, if the weekend was very intense or you had a lot going on over the majority of Scorpio season, take time to rest, because especially if you're a Sagittarius or Sagittarius dominant or fire dominant individual, you're going to need your rest to emotionally recalibrate before things take off later on this week. All right. So rest if you so need it. Tuesday. So Tuesday can be different activations across the board. We have the moon in Pisces now closer to that conjunction with Neptune, which can be very, very sleepy kitty vibes. So even if you're not tired, you might just feel like you are daydreaming, heightened intuition, feeling more creative. But we also have the moon making that square to Mercury. Part of me thinks there might be this moment of, can I really have all this? Is it really okay for me to dream this much? Head versus heart type energy, especially with the sun being at that 29th degree of Scorpio. So there might be a lot of energy, a lot of emotion, a lot of passion, a lot of intense feelings coming over on Tuesday. So getting grounded, taking time to be with yourself. We do have the moon making that sextile to Pluto and a sextile to Uranus. So it's likely that your emotions could be fluctuating, but I want it to be that they are moving in a direction that's going to be conducive and supportive to you. So please, please, please. And this also refers back to Monday being a day of rest and taking time for yourself. So as you're processing and moving through these waters and feeling all the feelings, it can also be the feelings of joy, of being so overwhelmed with blessings, or intuitive downloads are coming in and feeling like everything is so close. Like that could also be an energy that's coming in on Tuesday as well. So being able to ground in and to feel into that. And this is also a great day to manifest. P.S. with the sun at 29th degree and that moon Neptune conjunction. And throughout the day on Tuesday, the moon is going to be making that applied trine to Mars, right? So there could be a lot moving, a lot shifting. So please take this and run with it. And this would be a day where I would personally avoid the news and social media with the moon making a square to Mercury. You want to be grounded in your mind, in your body, in your soul, to be able to direct this energy with great fervor and passion. When we get to Wednesday, of course, now the sun enters Sagittarius, where it will join Mercury. Mars is not far behind. So this is a beautiful reminder to check the house ruled by Sagittarius in your natal chart. There's going to be a lot of activation here. Of course, if you are a Sagittarius sun, rising, moon, or have multiple planets in the sign of Sagittarius, you are going to be highly, highly activated. For me, with Sagittarius being a fire sign ruled by Jupiter, there is this buoyancy, there's hope, there's passion, there's wanting to take a big piece of the world and just enjoy it for yourself. Like nothing is too big, nothing is too grand. It might just be this passion, this motivation. You're taking the emotions and the feelings that you cultivate during Scorpio season, especially near the end of Scorpio season, to just really go after your dreams, go after everything that you want. Now, we do have the sun making a square to Saturn right off the bat, which isn't bad. They're both at 0 degrees. But for me, this is you getting so clear. It's like, what am I going after that's so big? And grounding it in. Again, we're seeing that grounding is a big theme throughout this week, especially. But the normal energy that perhaps the sun in Sagittarius could bring is going to be a little bit tempered by this Saturnine energy. This can also manifest in perhaps you feeling like, oh, what if, all those contracting energies of what Sag might bring. So if Sag is positive, buoyant, optimistic, maybe you're feeling at the start of Sagittarius season like, oh, why am I not feeling as happy? Why am I not feeling as positive? Especially if you are Sagittarius born at the end of November. What I will say is it's grounding you. There's an element of mastery with Saturn. And if you're this is also a big energy with Saturn, given it's related to time. If you're comparing yourself to a timeline or you're comparing yourself to someone else's timeline, and that's taking away your joy, hope, and optimism, release that. It's like, well, I thought I'd be further ahead at age blank, or so-and-so, like a contemporary or my sibling or my friend is the same age as me and they're further ahead in their career, their marriage. Are they further ahead? Like, you don't know the trajectory of that other person's life. And so you comparing yourself to them, is that really bringing you any joy? Is that even actually fair to compare your life with someone else's? We do it all the time, but that doesn't mean that you should or need to continually compare yourself to others moving forward. And I think that that comparison is also likely because we have Venus in Libra making that exact opposition to Chiron in Aries. So Aries is forging that new path, initiating something. And then with Venus and Libra, that can be where the comparison and maybe where, given that pleasure is very much linked to Venus and that relationship aspect that Libra brings, is that if you are comparing yourself to other people around you, then of course you're going to feel maybe a little bit more of that contraction with the Sun-Saturn square, or feeling like you're behind in a timeline that, if you want to believe you're behind because you haven't achieved X, Y, and Z by a certain date, that's on you, but that's not true. You can create any timeline. You can create any level of status and achievement based on what you want to receive in this timeline. And always remembering that universal timing is perfect. It's not going to come before you're ready for it. So trusting in that, and maybe using Wednesday as a way to ground in and focus and be dutiful and plan what you need to do to round off the rest of this year, or to get focused on whatever it is you're wanting to bring. And if you want to go a little bit more advanced on this, you can look to the houses that Sagittarius and Pisces rule in your chart to see where that discipline, mastery, and dutifulness is likely to come through for you to be happier, or for you to shine easier moving forward. All right. Boom. Now, Thursday is a complete shift because now we have the moon in Aries in a fire sign. We have the moon in aspect to both the sun and Mercury. We also do have the moon conjunct Chiron in opposing Venus, but I feel like with all this excess fire energy, it's breaking through a glass ceiling. So if there's any lingering feelings of disappointment or fear, that moon in Aries is at least going to give you the energy to keep on going, to find the strength, the courage, the motivation. But I do think that this will be a tipping point throughout the week. This will be a chance where you're going to go really all in and know that what's on the other side that you can handle, that you're capable of, or reaching out for the right resources help. And we also have the moon in a Mars-ruled sign, right? And Mars is at its 29th degree. So this is the last day of Mars being in Scorpio. So that also is rounding out Mars's transit, which again could be any last energies that you're dealing with in that Scorpio part of your chart, in Martian-ruled themes of really being strategic and planning and having that follow through, especially with Mars in the sign of Scorpio. So a lot is going to be shifting on Thursday. And for me, I believe it's going to be taking it to that next level, breaking through to the other side to really go forward on whatever it is you're passionate and motivated on. And also too, with the moon making that trine to Mercury, great day for communication, great day for sending emails. If you're wanting to receive some type of news, applying for jobs, interviewing, that's all very much highlighted here. But again, do not be afraid of what other people are going to say or think. This is a time where the moon is in Aries that you're focused on you. You're focused on what you're wanting to achieve and knowing that's going to be beneficial for everyone. It's like, if you're happy, if you're shining, everyone else is going to be happy and shining as a result. Now, Friday. The moon is finishing up its transit in Aries. We have Mars entering Sagittarius. The moon is making that square to Pluto and conjunct the North Node. So let's break this down. With Mars moving into Sagittarius, I think this is going to give you energy to perhaps do multiple things at once, or just have this vibrant energy of knowing that there are certain things that can finally pick up and go. Or, of course, with Sagittarius being a mutable sign, perhaps shifting a tactic or doing things in a different way so you're not continually disappointed or frustrated. It's okay, I've tried doing this again and again and again in this way. It hasn't been working. How else can I shift? How else can I pivot to benefit myself moving forward? And we also do have now, of course, Mars making that square to Saturn. So what we were saying about the Sun square Saturn can also apply here with Mars. It can also be something that, let's say you're hiring someone on and they're bringing a strategy that's going to last for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And you're like, oh, I really want this to be done sooner, but I understand for me to fix this or to heal the process, I need to be diligent and not thinking that's going to happen right away. But through this time that I commit for my energy, my passion, my career, my health, it's really going to benefit me. If any of you have had physio after an injury or after a surgery, your muscle or your body isn't cured after one session or one day. It's being dutiful. And even when you start to feel better, you still keep doing the stretches. You still keep doing the rehab. Or even when you take antibiotics, the doctors are like, even when you start feeling better, please finish up the entire amount of medicine. This can be an energy too, where especially if you are, let's say, injured, Sagittarius rules the legs, or if you're dealing with a leg injury or just any type of sprain, cut, injury, that you are also being dutiful in your approach. And this could be an internal, like a heart injury, an emotional injury. This could be a spiritual injury, like you're losing faith. This is a time where it's like step by step, day by day, being dutiful. This is really going to help. And this is also too, with Saturn being in Pisces, a very healing aspect. So if you are wanting to invest into a healer, therapist, coach, whomever, this would be a great time to start leaning on them for support to put yourself in the right direction. And we also have that moon north node, right? So that Aries part of your chart, there could be something being highlighted here, especially with the moon coming off of that trine to Mercury, where there's correspondence, there's opportunity, there's a download that's leading you in the right direction. And especially with moon making a square to Pluto, some kind of truth or some type of power needing to be revealed or cultivated, or maybe you feeling really frustrated at an abuse of power from a colleague, a superior, a family member, that's then going to activate this Mars Saturn square and saying, I'm not going to keep putting my energy and focus into this. It might be challenging, but I'm going to start looking or start putting a boundary so that I'm not consistently in this energy moving forward. What I will say is the weekend is much, much more beautiful, blessed, easy, because we have the moon in its exaltation of Taurus, right there, sandwiched between Jupiter and Uranus. So Saturday is a great day to relax, to chill, self-care. Great time for fertility, expansion. There's just a lot of great things whenever the moon is in strong dignity and has a strong aspect to Jupiter. So take time to enjoy, take time to be social, take time to have fun. This is a really, really strong day. The moon in a Venus-ruled sign, Venus in its home sign of Libra. Take time to enjoy, take time to rest, take time to do things that bring you pleasure. And I will say, when we get to Sunday with the moon in Taurus, it's coming off that conjunction with Uranus. It's making a sextile to Neptune. It's making a trine to Pluto. I just feel like there's going to be a lot shifting, you finding personal power, revelations, your energy coming back. The weekend is a very, very strong time. It's definitely an expansive time. So know that throughout the week, if there are certain things that are frustrating or taking longer than you expect, the weekend is a time to fully envelop and to enjoy the fruits of your labor, but also just, I know we're not at the end of the year yet, but it feels like there's going to be some victory or something that you're going to look back on and say, like, now it makes sense, or this was coming through for a specific reason. And of course, we're coming up to that full moon in Gemini, right? So there is going to be something that's likely to be highlighted, or that's going to be very pronounced, whether it's going to be internally or externally at the start of next week. Okay. Boom. So for the astrology question of the week, this is kind of what I was referring to as well earlier in the video, but the notion of How can you keep faith when it's really turbulent or really painful, or it feels like nothing is working out? And take this if it resonates, but God, source, universe is not wanting you to be punished. They're not forcing you to be in pain. There's no, you did something bad, now we're going to punish you. Remember, humans judge good versus bad. You being in pain, you being frustrated, is that bad, or is that reshifting you to then find a different solution to make yourself feel good? And feeling good for you could be not working, could be going to see a physio, could be eating better so that your body feels healthier and stronger. Nothing is good and nothing is bad. Truly, we assign this to our life. It's also that notion, too, that says after you make a certain amount of money, people aren't necessarily happier. They feel happier when they're in loving relationships. So for someone to chase wealth their entire life and deem that important and place so much status on that, and then for someone else being like, no, I want to get married, I want to have a family, and then the other two looking at each other and being like, I don't want your life, I want my life, they're both right. Neither one is wrong. So I want you to really focus on that. And if you're going through something rough and turbulent, from an astrological point of view, it's a transit. Transits change. Yes, there might be a long transit that could last a year or a couple years, but it's going to pass. And during that time, it's meant to happen for a reason. And you can stay in a victimhood mentality and saying, why me? Why is this so painful? Why am I going through this? Or you can just take the time to heal. Take the time to surround yourself with people that want to help you. Will it take time? Yes. Will it take discipline? Yes. Will it take an investment of money or energy or some type of resource? Likely, yes. But what's the alternative? Being unhappy or being in pain? And what I will say from my journey is, after coming out of a very intense year, very painful year, I would never wish what I went through onto anyone at any time. It was very, very painful. There were days where I couldn't get out of bed. It was that painful. What I learned in this past 12 months, no one can take that away from me. No doctor, no superior, no person can ever change my perception, my experience, because it was mine. I did it. I went through it. I survived. Very Scorpio. But with that being said, now I know all these things. The genie can't go back in the bottle. What I've learned, what I've alchemized, what I've healed, I can now implement throughout the rest of my life. No one convinced me otherwise. And so when you go through something like a life or death moment like that, or a near-death experience, or going through something so huge, no one can take it away. And that is true power. That is true healing. That's what your soul wants to do. So with that being said, if you're ever going through a very challenging time, take the time to rest. Listen to your body. What does your body need? If your body needs to cry, let it cry. There have been many, many days, many weekends where I have just cried, where I just canceled everything and cried. And it felt really good. Because again, crying, like water, is emotions. And if we're storing all these emotions up, and sometimes we don't even realize, like I, in the past, would be like, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I'm like, yes, it is. It's a huge deal, especially if you're one that has a lot of water in their natal chart. Water signs being Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. We need to feel, we need to be able to emote and express ourselves. And when we're taking that time to heal, when we're taking that time to process, we are tapping into that part of ourselves, that water energy, which is also very purifying, very healing. And a lot of times, even though we don't want to hear this, to be able to heal, we need to feel. We need to process those emotions. And doing all the other things to think that will help, your body is always going to keep storing that energy. It needs and wants to heal, whether that is the heart, whether that's the soul, whether that's the mind, whether that's an organ, whether that's a cell, it doesn't matter. And I think it's very fitting that we're talking about this during Scorpio season, with the Sun and Mars still in strong aspect to one another, that you get to go deeper, you get to feel deeper, you get to heal deeper, you get to have even more power, more love, more wealth, more expansion on the other side. Always, always, always. That's how this always works. So if you're feeling really intensely, if there's so much going on, trust that the expansion is going to be equivalent or more of what you're feeling. That's how it always works. That's just the law. And I understand how it's challenging to believe that at certain points, but I promise you that is universal law. It always works out that way. And it gets to even happen faster if you put more faith and belief into it. Okay. So let me know how that resonates. If you have any questions about the coaching specials, in-person readings, any offerings, or have any other questions that you want answered from an astrological or spiritual perspective, please let me know in the comments. Have a phenomenal week. Happy birthday. Happy Sagittarius season to all our Sagittarius angels watching. And I will see you next week. Bye.